and today I have a paper crafting project for you. This is a printout available from me, and it is a floral tag and pocket piece. And so what we're going to do is I have already fussy cut out the two floral cards and the pocket for it, and then the circles are for the tags. And what I'm doing here is just putting them on my scoring platform here and scoring it down the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here I just want to score that circle in half, or just, you can actually even just fold that circle in half. And I'm putting this out on a kind of a medium weight cardstock. All right, so I have the two circles folded in half, and then we're going to go ahead and score our pocket. Now, our pocket really needs to fold. I'll show you right here. Okay, there are markings on the printout to show you where you need to score. All right, but we want to score right across there. And then we want to score, let me turn it this way so we can see what's going on here. All right, and then we want to score right along, you're going to go right along this straight edge and just continue on. All right, to make that there, and the same on this side. All right, and that's going to make our pocket. Now, what we don't have in place yet is the tag, or excuse me, the pocket folding over the top. And I'm going to wait for that, even though there are some score lines on your printable. I'm going to leave this because if you want to put the tabs on the cards they fit just perfectly inside here. In fact, you may have to just cut them down a little bit. You can test them out, see if they fit. All right, I think they're like a millimeter smaller than the pocket. So if you want to put your tabs on, depending on how high your tabs are, you don't want to fold this over until you know that those tabs are going to be out of the way. All right, hopefully that makes sense. And once we work on this, I think it will make more sense. All right, so for right now, I'm going to put my scoring board away, and I am just going to now work on these pieces. And what I have is some vintage photo, and I'm just going to go around the edges. Now the edges are already shadowed, and I am just going around it with vintage photo. And the reason I do that is that if by chance any of my cutting is off a little bit, this will cover it up. All right, and now vintage photo is usually what everyone uses. However, you can use whatever whatever ink works for you. You don't even have to do this. Like I said, the pieces do come already with a slight shadow along the edge, but I find that going over them with the ink kind of helps hide any of those cut mistakes. All right, and then of course anywhere you fold, like on this piece here where we folded, it doesn't have any shadowing, so you may find that you want to add that in where you fold. Now this is actually the back, or the inside. I'm going to go ahead and go along this top edge. Now if you wanted, you could use your paper punch and do a little circle right there, all right, to make it easier to go in and out. And I'm just going to finish up by going around these edges. And then we're just about ready to construct. And this is a quick and easy little project that will work in your junk journaling, your card making, however you want to do it. All right, so I have these scored and folded, and I'm going to come in with my wet glue for this because I can control the small line of glue that I want. And so I am just going to go right over these two tabs. I may have to poke my glue with a needle here first. Ooh, the little alcohol bottle is trying to join in. All right, so I'm gonna get that opening to work. And now I'm just going to add wet glue on both sides. All right, and fold that over, and as you push down on that, you want to push to the outside, because if you have any excess glue, you want it to come out instead of go to the inside. So that's what the front of the pocket looks like. This is what the back looks like. Now, if you're off a little bit, like I am here, I can just go over that with my ink, and you never know. And if you're going to glue this down, you would never see it anyway. All right. Now, whether or not your cards want to have tabs on them. All right. I designed it so that you can put a little tab that sticks up just a little bit on each one. All right. And so you're going to want to put glue. If I can get this. There we go. You're going to want to put glue over the whole piece because it's going to glue to both sides. All right. So I've already folded. And you can decide where on here you want. I'm just putting them where I thought they would look good. All right, and so that is going to be my little tab. And now I can put a word on there if I want. I can do writing, whatever I want to do with that. All right, and so there is my tab. I'm just making sure it is straight with the top of my card. And that's what it looks like on the back side. It might be a little crooked, but I think we're okay. And then I want to put this one in an alternate location because I want them to be able to work next to each other. So I'm going to put this one right about here. All right. And you can see that I'm trying to go for about the same amount of space up. If that makes sense. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you can see that they both stick up about the same amount. So now when I go to put them in here, trying to avoid the glue that might still be wet. All right, so you can see that these stick up just a little bit. So I didn't want to score that edge up there until I knew how much space I needed for my tabs. All right, so now I can go ahead and score where that fold will be. There. And now that I've made the fold, I want to ink it. And then I can decide on what kind of closure I want. Do I want to wrap it in a cord? Do I want to poke a little hole here and use the wrapping for it? Do I want to put a raised button with cording that I can wrap around? Do I want to put Velcro underneath here? But you can see now that your tabs, you can grab a hold of your tabs and pull them out because you've scored above them. All right, now if you want more space here, of course, you could go in. I'll show you how to do that. All right, you can take a paper punch and just go in far enough, and you probably want to do this before, gluing this together, but we can make it work. All right, so I'm gonna put the bottom in here so I can see what I'm doing, trying to center. And if you can see in there, I'm not taking a whole lot off. I just want a little bit. And again, I want to make sure that I'm not taking so much off that it comes below my tab top. Okay, so now I'm going to go around this with my brown ink. All right, and now when I go to put my cards back in, you'll see, once again, just trying to stay clear of where my glue is. All right, so now you can now see where those tabs are a little bit better so that you can pull your cards out. And then once again, we just need to finish off that area. So let me, I'm going to get my crocodile and put a little piece there. I'll be right back. All right, so what I have decided on is that I am going to use a brad right here. So I want to just kind of figure out where my center is, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and say, I want my hole to be right about there. All right, it might actually be easier to see it on the back side. Right about there. And then I'm going to go with my smaller opening here and line up that pencil mark, if I can see it. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to punch a hole right into my paper like that. And then I'm going to use my brad, all right? But I don't want it to go all the way down. I want it to stay up just a little teeny bit. All right, so I'm going to bend it by leaving a little bit of height there. All right, and I'm just going to push down on it. And so what I have here is I have taken some coordinating cord, and I'm going to go around that and tie a knot with the two ends. All right, I'm a little twisted here, so and I've made it quite long because I don't know how much I need yet. So show you what I've got going. All right, gotta get that loop back on there. All right, and then I want to pull my ends out. There we go. All right, I'm gonna tie a knot, and then I'm just gonna do it again, just to be safe. And I know this looks like a cord mess, and it just does because the length is so long. All right, so I've done a double knot. All right, and now I can take this, wrap it around however many times I want. Looks like 2 is going to be it, and then I can secure it like so. Decide where I want to trim the ends, right about there. It's a good look. And there is our piece done. All right, and now if I wanted to, I could, glue this into a journal. If I did that, of course, I don't want the cording on the back to be in the way. All right, so what I might do is then take the cording down like so, glue it in place like that. So then when the cording now comes up here, I would just go around and hold it in place like that, and it would be secure on the back because I've glued this whole thing in place with the cord running down the back. I hope that makes sense. Just an alternative way to use it. If you wanted to, you could, wrap this way instead. Really up to you, however you would want to do your closure, or if you wanted your closure. I mean, the other option would be you could, cut a straight line and tuck a tab in if you wanted to. But there are your floral cards and pocket. And then now you can add to the front here. You could journal on the back, add a photo, a memory, whatever you would like to these 2 beautiful flower cards. And of course you could print out more. If you wanted to have multiple cards in your pocket, you could do even more. So hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial on how to use this piece, and I hope you enjoy creating with it.